You are now watching On Point, a news and public affairs show from California State University, Northridge.
Hello and welcome to On Point. I'm your host, Najera. March is Women's History Month, where we celebrate the diverse backgrounds and stories of women. Whether those stories are personal successes or big cultural contributions, many people take the time this month to honor these achievements. Today, we will give the spotlight to these three women business owners. In our studio, we are joined by Citlalli Hernandez, a dessert business owner. Welcome.
Thank you.
Macy Mungcal, an esthetician and beauty service provider. Welcome. And Vanessa Garcia, a chief broadcast editor and executive storytelling producer. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the show. But before we begin our conversation, our reporter Brianna Small went out on campus to a career event centered on women of color. She spoke to visitors and guests on what being women in business means to them. Let's take a look.
Women of color don't have the same equal opportunity as people on this campus and the same, just everything. So it's just like, it takes it back to like Storm Valley State when it's for us.
It's just always important to get the different perspectives of women of color, particularly this panel is all black women, and just about their experiences in corporate America, professionally, so that they can just share that information with students, with faculty, with staff.
And just be encouraged, be motivated to know that things will get better, things are going to get better, and there's always, a bright road ahead.
Have fun with it. Like, this is the beginning of your career. This is the opportunity to go explore, and while you might study one central thing, be open to where your career and your experience can drive parallel opportunities for you.
Okay, so off the bat, what does seeing other women's success mean to you? I'll start with you, Citlalli.
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think it's important to see women support women. I do like how one of them said, don't be closed to the opportunities, because that's actually how I started my small business, by being open and expanding my skills. And it turned from a hobby to a business, and I'm sitting here now.
And we'll speak more on that during your segment. What about you, Macy?
Similarly to like what Citlalli was saying, it really did turn in from like a hobby to being a business for me. I feel like after seeing that segment, it kind of made me feel heard, as a woman, and just like, it's nice being a part of that community where we can lift each other up.
By you, Vanessa?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with these ladies here. A lot of what we heard from the segment, specifically women of color, women from different ethnicity and backgrounds, that's a lot of importance as well. So I definitely agree with all that.
And touching on that, as a woman of color, what does that mean to you personally to have this type of success with your own business? Anybody can chime in.
I come from a background of like most of my family coming from like the medical field, and as a young child, like all we knew pretty much was knowing how to like go to college, get your degree, whether you're being like a nurse or going into law. Like that was defined as success back then, but to kind of like break that generational like norm and to like have set like my own type of thing is just, it's cool.
Great. What about you, Citlalli?
I agree. I think I wouldn't say I'm like, I'm more on the lighter scale, but I do come from immigrant parents. That's super important to me, and I think it's also breaking the norm. My parents didn't get to even finish elementary school, so for me to be able to not only get my bachelor's but my associates as well was a big deal. And I think it also stands on us breaking that barrier of like small businesses and being the difference in this generation.
Yeah, definitely I agree with that. Me being a Latina woman and my business partners also being Latina, starting this new company, especially with media and female filmmakers being behind the camera, it's definitely something that we always look for when it comes to people in the media, who is running the production. We look at female actresses and there's been an increase in diversity with that. But in terms of people behind the camera, me and my co-business partners, we always look for that empowerment as well, with not only just being females, but also female of ethnic background as well.
And to that point, empowerment, what drives each of you, to get up every day and, keep pushing forward with your business and finding ways to grow it?
I think just falling in love with the business all over again. With me, I make custom work, so it's always, I fall in love with everything because it's so different. It's not like, yeah, maybe I'll do chocolate covered strawberries again and again, but one day I'll do like Barbie theme, or the next day I'll be pink and sparkly, and it's just really falling in love with that. I love what I do, and it's taken me this far because I love it, and yeah.
I love being able to foster a community of women in a way that I can make them feel good from the inside out. To me, it's more than just like providing the beauty service and like taking in the next client. It's more about like getting to know each person and empowering one another.
And for me, I've always been in love with journalism and anything with media and filmmaking. I studied broadcast journalism at Cal State Northridge. Right after that, I went to Columbia University in New York City, got my master's in journalism, and that's where I met my co-business partners, Isabella Garcia Mendez and Sabrina Torres, who we share this media company with. First day, we saw each other, other Latinas in journalism, so we immediately attracted to one another, and never did I imagine we would be holding our own media company. And it's definitely with diverse communities that we hone that passion for being Latinos ourselves and meeting with clients that want a unique story to be told. And we definitely have the skills in terms of journalism that we understand that well-told stories have on the impact on our viewers. So we definitely always go with that.
And how are each of you growing your business, or how has that sort of been like post-COVID?
I can go ahead and answer. For me, I actually started night markets, which has really helped me, as well as just being more present on social media. I actually just released a new series, what it's like to run a night market. So it's kind of my POV from the night market, where it's just me interacting with the guests. And that has really helped a lot because it just brings a personal name to the business and face, which is what people really love to see.
I've been able to grow my business, gratefully so, in an organic way, such as like word of mouth. I'm super grateful for that because like when one person likes my work, it leads to them telling their family members and their friends, and also being more present on social media as well.
Yeah, I definitely relate to that. At the moment, my company just launched 5 months ago, and we just finished our first major project last month, and we hard launched it this month, being Women's Empowerment Month. So that's definitely been a big thing for us, and at the moment with being word of mouth. So we're just looking for new clients, and we're open to working with anyone.
Each of you spoke about a little bit about social media. How important do you think a social media presence is in today's age with launching a small business?
I want to say it's pretty important, at least for me, but I don't want to say it's everything. Like, I feel like word of mouth is a little more reliable at times, but I do think it's important, especially, it also just depends on the kind of business. I know for me personally, people have loved to see like the person behind the business rather than just pictures of these treats that I make, and just getting to know me on like a personal level.
I agree on what Citlalli was saying about like getting to know the person behind the phone. I would say it's pretty important, but like she said, it's not everything. I would say that like my Instagram page is kind of like my portfolio of my work, so people are able to see different lash styles, how I perform brow services, some behind the scenes work, things like that.
Yeah, social media is a big thing for my media company. We present a lot on our Instagram. We're just starting our TikTok page, and we like to do like videos of us on the field, waking up really early for interviews and getting more of an intimate look of who is the team running this company. And I think that people really relate to more intimate stories, and that's what they like to see, and it's definitely something that we're going to be providing from now on.
Right. Well, we're going to touch a little bit more on that on the other segments. We will have more on these success stories when we come back. Business owner Citlalli Hernandez will be back here with us to share how she adds her own flair to culinary arts. We'll be right back.
I tell my son, I love you every single day.
Welcome back. Citlalli Hernandez is here to tell us how her business Curl Delights came to be and the creative spark she adds to her treats. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So I do want to start off with your name. It's sort of an unconventional question, but can you tell us a little bit about your name?
Yeah, so my parents named me, obviously. It's Citlalli, like you sit down and then Lali. But the meaning behind it is actually an Aztec princess, which is really cool and unique. It also means star. So I've always had like this thing with stars since it's literally my name.
I love that.
Thank you.
All right. So can you tell us about Curl Delights? How did it start? Where did it come? Like, what sprouted the idea?
Yeah, so it actually started in pandemic year, 2020. It was in December when I started to like sell these treats as a hobby because, pandemic was, everywhere. You couldn't work anywhere. So I was like, you know what? Let me just sell these treats, see how it does. Kind of just started as an idea. Later, I started naming my business and I came up with Curl Delights, hence like the curly hair. It's where the first one comes from. And yeah, I just started as an idea. I didn't expect to be where I am today with my business, but here I am and I am so grateful for everything that I've been able to do with it.
And how did clientele come about? Like, where did you find people to sell to?
So clientele really first started with word of mouth, especially when I was first starting. I was barely starting to post on social media. And then it just grew. Right now with my night markets, I've been doing really good, thankfully. And I've also been able to grow through their word of mouth and social media wise now. So that social media presence has really helped me as well as word of mouth.
And can you explain a little bit how the night markets work?
Yeah, night markets are quite hectic days. I do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So Thursday, I actually begin baking because it's so much I need to do for all 3 days. They're hectic days, but I love them. Like me and my mom kind of have my routine. My mom helps me a lot. We kind of like do this like zigzag through the kitchen, and we just like avoid each other somehow. But yeah, she helps me a lot. And night markets are really fun in the way that you just get to meet new people, see new experiences, and just get to talk to customers. Now that I've been there for a year, I've been able to just really get to know my customers on a personal basis, talk to them, have conversations with them, and it's more than just a face to me.
And what feeling does that bring to you when you are able to, accommodate somebody with some of your treats?
Yeah, it brings me a lot of joy, especially because one of the reasons why I started my new segment was because I love these interactions that I get to see with people. One of them being like how much they compliment my logo, or they're like, "Oh my God, I get it, Curl Delights, you have curls." I'm like, yes. Just little things like that. It makes it more than just a business, and it really just feels like it's family, which is really what it's been like this past few years.
Can you talk a little bit about your segment? Is that on social media?
Yeah, it's actually on social media, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And it's called This Is What It's Like to Run a Night Market, where it's basically my POV of me interacting with the customers, as well as showing who I am, my personality a little bit. My parents as well. My dad's actually pretty famous on there. They love my dad. Yeah.
So after all, you started in 2020. What would be your advice to someone who's trying to break into creating their own small business?
Just starting. I think the biggest thing is always starting. Once you start, everything just unfolds. Like I said before, I would never have expected to be where I am, but it's all because I just started. I feel like people see this big checklist and oh, I don't have all the boxes checked, but as time progresses, you check those boxes little by little, and I think that's when your business really starts to build, and you are where I am today.
And where do you see Curl Delights maybe 1 to 2 years from now?
Maybe your storefront. That'd be really cool, manifesting that. A lot of people ask if we have a storefront, and I'm like, not yet, but hopefully one day. Maybe even branching out into the bigger world, celebrity artwork or something like that. That'd be really cool.
And you said they were treats. What kind of treats do you sell?
So I kind of have a variety. We have buñuelos, chocolate-covered strawberries, flan, churro cheesecake. Oh man. We have aguas frescas. We have chocolate chip cookies. We have a lot. That's like what I can think of from the top of my head, but everything's customizable. So we're able to do like custom strawberries. We can add edible images to them, just really personalize everything.
It's making me hungry. What is a one word to describe your business? If you could come up with one word.
That's a good question. Inspiring.
Why did you say that word?
I've gotten a lot of people saying like, oh, I just started my strawberry business and you're really inspiring to me, which is so crazy to me because I look up to these bigger accounts that have like chocolate covered strawberries and stuff, and they're inspiring to me. So the fact that now I'm able to be inspiring someone else is really cool, and I hope to live up to that inspiration, and I try to show that inspiration behind like all my content, and always trying to like message other people and being supportive in the strawberry community.
Thank you so much for sharing all that. After we come back from commercial, Macy Mungcal will be back in the studio with us to share how she became a licensed esthetician. Stay with us.
I'm an actor in an ad reminding you that if you're high, just don't drive.
Welcome back to On Point. Our guest, Macy Mungcal, is in the studio with us to tell us her experiences as an esthetician and how she adds her own magic when working. Welcome back, Macy.
Hello.
So I'm going to get started with asking you about your business name and how you got started.
So my business name is Face by Mace. I got the business name from a friend. I was kind of just throwing out the idea like, hey, I might do eyelashes or some beauty services. I actually posted a little poll on my Instagram, and then Face by Mace came up, and I was like, that has a little ring to it. I think I'll go with it, and I've just stuck with it for the past 3 years.
And how did you get started?
I got started during the pandemic, so 3 years ago, I started doing eyelash extensions from a little corner of my parents' house. I was just during a time where we had a lot of time on our hands. I was fresh out of high school, very broke, did not know what to do with my life yet. I was a freshman in college, so I was going to pursue nursing. However, over the course of time, as I started building my business, I turned over to business, and I finished college with my business admin degree, and I ended up going to esthetician school.
It's really interesting. So how does clientele come about for you?
For me, it's mainly, I would say, word of mouth. Since I started fresh out of high school, I was still connected with a lot of people, so I would post it on my Instagram pretty often. I was staying active on there, and slowly, from one person to another, it just started rolling in.
And you spoke a little bit earlier on the other segment about how providing services is more than just providing services. Can you speak a little bit more about that?
It's more to me than just providing services, because I feel like the women that come in and get to lay down on my bed, they're usually pretty busy, whether it's work, school, whatever it is that life throws at them. I feel like the 2 hours that I get with them is their time to just like relax, unwind, and just like decompress from whatever their lives are outside of the beauty room.
And what specific beauty services do you provide?
I do lash extensions and eyebrow services.
Great. So in growing your business, you spoke a little bit about social media. Do you use like Instagram, use TikTok? How's that go?
So I mainly use Instagram. I post a little bit on TikTok as well. And yeah, those are my main platforms.
Are they just like basic videos, kind of showing what you do, or how does that?
Oh yeah, I'll post some reels. Recently I did a photo shoot, so I did some behind the scenes work. And then I'll do like little before and afters of pictures I've taken of clients. Sometimes I'll even do like a client reaction, day in my life, things like that.
Was beauty always a passion for you? You said that you shifted to business, so was beauty always a passion?
It definitely was. I feel like when I was younger, I was so curious about it. Like I would watch like my mom, my aunts do their makeup. I actually loved like watching YouTube videos of people like doing their makeup routine, hair, nails, anything beauty. I was just always so interested in it. And once I started my business, like the face kind of became like my art canvas, and it brought out some sort of like creativity in me.
And where do you provide your services?
I work at 2 locations, so I have a studio in Woodland Hills and in Chatsworth.
And when did you get established there? Was that recently?
It was pretty recent. I graduated esthetician school last September, and just around that time, I started working in my Woodland Hills location, and then I now work at this other place in Chatsworth called Aesthetic Junkies, where I'm around other beauty professionals who provide aesthetic services.
And as a woman business owner, what would your advice be to other women who are trying to break into creating their own business for themselves?
I would say, honestly, kind of like what Citlalli was saying, just start. Like, there's no harm in trying, and like, I feel like you kind of get to learn a little bit more about not only other people but yourself, and it kind of pushes you out of your comfort zone. And like, why not? Like, I feel like when you're first starting, obviously you might not be used to it or super good at it, but I feel like it's kind of about letting your pride down and really stepping into a different version of yourself.
And where do you see your business 1 to 2 years from now?
I would love to open my own salon in 1 to 2 years if that's possible. I feel like we've been growing at a pretty good rate, so hopefully we can make that happen.
Sounds great. And just the last question, who does your lashes? They look great.
A friend of mine from esthetician school has been doing my lashes. I actually like to hop around to different girls to kind of like get to know them and see what tricks I can pick up from them and vice versa.
Sounds fun. Thank you so much for coming on. When we come back, our final guest, Vanessa Garcia, will share how she put her foot in the door in the media industry. She'll be with us after the break. Welcome back. For Vanessa Garcia, telling stories is her profession, and she is here with us to do just that. She will share how she reached high-level positions, such as becoming a chief broadcast editor and executive storytelling producer. Welcome back, Vanessa.
Thank you.
So let's start with your business name. It's super unique. Can you tell us a little bit about the origin of it?
Yes, so Najera Media.
Najera.
It's a combination of names. Going with my chief media officer of our company. It's a combination of her name and her brother's name, because our media group is just like a branch, and her brother has like real estate, so that's kind of like 2 branches of Najera, and we just happen to be the media group. So they started the business, and my friend Isabella, who is the chief media officer, said we need videographers. So she got me and then my other friend Sabrina, who is our chief cinematographer, to join the media group. So it's the 3 of us, yeah.
And what sprouted this idea? I think you spoke a little bit about it. Can you tell us the story?
Yeah, so me, Isabella, and Sabrina all met at Columbia University in New York City. We were all pursuing our masters in journalism. And us being Latinas in an Ivy League institution, we quickly clicked with one another. We definitely felt like outsiders in an Ivy League, being Latina, so we quickly just became friends. I heard them talking Spanish. I immediately turned around. I was like, oh my God, another Latina here at Columbia. So we definitely clicked very quickly. And then we pursued video, audio at Columbia. And after that, Isabella, our chief media officer, got in touch with someone from her alumni at Berkeley, saying that they needed people to do social media for a political campaign at Fresno County. So she brought us on board for this, and we've been working on it since November. We just finished that project last month. So that was like our first major project, and we just thought, why not start our own media group? So that's kind of like what launched it for us.
Can you talk a little bit about the project?
Yeah, so it was a political campaign in Fresno County. It's called Measure E. It was an investment towards Fresno State University. It was a penny out of every $4 spent in Fresno County residents. It was a tax that was put up for a local election for this past March 5th election, so it was up for ballot. And our job was just to create social media content for it, interviewing people from the county, a lot of the mayors from the county that were for the measure, specifically a lot of the students at Fresno State University considering that it's going to be benefiting the university, modernizing it, expanding new programs, expanding the nursing program, considering that there is a shortage of nurses in Fresno County. And a lot of the Fresno State University students stay in the county, so it was a big deal. And that's kind of like how we got focused on our interviews, going on campus, trying to like make it fun for the students as well. So for Valentine's Day, we gave out roses and we made social media out of it. So that was a lot of fun and the students loved it.
Sounds fun. And where are you sharing all your content?
Yeah, so right now it's on Instagram, and we also have our website, anajavi.com. Since considering that we just launched, we're still in the group of all of that. We just hard launched this month, considering Women's History Month. It just happened to go in line for us, so it's been going good so far.
And what kinds of stories are you hoping to tell with your company, your business?
Yeah, definitely. Considering the three of us come from journalism backgrounds, we kind of have a more intimate look with stories. We understand how well-told stories have for viewers. So a lot of the stories that we love is Latino stories. We love music. We are big Peso Pluma fans, and considering how much he has risen, him being in Coachella now, and him being a Latino artist, that's something kind of like the diverse stories that we're looking for. We're manifesting that for us. Definitely more documentary style as well. But so we have video production, multimedia solutions, and social media creation content. So a mix of everything, whatever really calls to our hearts is what we love to do.
And as women creators, what role does that play in the kind of content you're hoping to create?
Yeah, definitely. For our first project, we got really lucky in Fresno County, a lot of it being a lot of Latinos. So us being female and Latinas, we got more of a connection with the people that we were interviewing with. They felt more comfortable with us, making them more open to their responses whenever we would interview them. And I think that people appreciate that. And when they come to seeing someone behind the camera, they want to see someone that looks like them and making them more comfortable. And I think that makes our content even better.
And is your content all in English and Spanish or both?
It's a mix of both, yeah. So we translate it. Sometimes we do voiceover, so we also do voiceover work where I translate it in Spanish. So it's a bilingual production, yeah.
And what should we expect from your business maybe 1-2 years from now?
Hopefully a lot of documentaries. Like I mentioned, Peso Pluma being one of them. That's something that we are slowly pitching, hopefully is in the works sooner or later, but definitely a lot of documentaries that touch in our hearts as Latinas, a lot of social media branding, events, campaign, this political campaign that I mentioned about Fresno County, just more intimate, more diverse, unique stories. It's definitely what we want to be doing.
And what would this Peso Pluma story look like, this documentary?
Oh, definitely. Not to throw away our pitch to everybody, but more of his upbringing, like how I mentioned, we like more intimate stories of how he became an artist, how it was for him growing up, and how he is now performing at Coachella as a starring artist.
All right, so we don't want any more spoilers, but we're looking forward to that.
Yes.
I would like to thank you and all of our guests who joined us to share their stories with us. It was a pleasure having you all here. This has been On Point with Ali Najera. Thank you for watching.